The 1-5 New Orleans Saints came into Chicago on a mission. Their defense, putting pressure on Caleb Williams, had the Bears continue to use the running game Ben Johnson offense style once again. Kyle Monangai, the rookie, 7th-round pick out of Rutgers, getting his first NFL touchdown. 13 touches, 81 rushing yards with the touchdown on the day. DeAndre Swift getting over 100 rushing yards once again and getting in the end zone a little bit himself. Kevin Byard, the star safety of the Chicago Bears, getting it done along with a healthy Jaquan Brisker. Boy, that's a deadly duo at safety for the Bears. Kyler Gordon, Tremaine Edmonds getting it done on defense. Leads to our Week 7 Will's Fifth Quarter Special recap of the Chicago Bears' Week 7 win, 26-14 over the now 1-6 New Orleans Saints. Good afternoon, Will Score Special fans. It's host Will Farlow here with you, breaking down this great Chicago Bears action. Now, there are some things they need to clean up. We're going to get to that in a moment, but I want to see if you guys recognize this number. So this is number 24, worn by Chicago Bears former player. He was a running back and pretty well known. Played the last few years, a little bit in his career with the Eagles as well, before hanging it up. He was a pretty reliable Bears running back in the day. It's Jordan Howard. Got this shirt jersey in high school when he was playing. I'm like, I need some new Bears gear, and I wanted to pick a player that just got the job done. You know, the Bears have a very good history of running backs, and it's cool to see Jordan Howard in that Bears history as well. He wasn't like big like Walter Payton, but he was still a good, reliable role player in Chicago Bears history books of running backs. And Kyle Monangai, I want to start talking about him in this. Now, of course, those first two drives we wish he could have back, but credit to Jake Moody as well, just getting it done from the field goal situations, good kickoffs. This is a really good kid. Now, even if Cairo Santos comes back and is healthy, keep this kid on practice squad, keep him around on the roster at least if you need another kicker, because it's always good to have if, you know, Cairo Santos does go down again, doesn't come back maybe his injury lingers, you never know. It's the NFL. These things happen. So having Jake Moody around, he's 24 years old, that's a kicker you can develop, you know, if he sticks around. That's a good thing to have, seeing what he's doing for the team. It was a good job by the Bears when they picked him up, adding him to the practice squad. You know, that's just good on Ryan Poles and Ian Cunningham and their staff. And I like what they're doing. There are some questions, like I said, I have about the Bears. We're going to get to that in a moment. But let's get to Kyle Monangai. I talked about it in the open of this Facebook Live here, recapping the Chicago Bears Week 7 win. Just tuning in, they won 26-14 over the New Orleans Saints. The Chicago Bears also saw the Vikings go down against Philadelphia Eagles just a little bit after the Bears win. So the Bears now slide into third place. They were tied for the third spot at 3-2 with the Vikings, who came into their game 3-2. The Vikings now losing that game, and the Chicago Bears taking third place. Now, we'll see what happens. Green Bay playing right now, that game just getting underway. And then tomorrow night, Monday Night Football, we have the Detroit Lions in a really interesting matchup as well. So a lot of games to watch in what's a tightly contested and highly competitive NFC North division. Couldn't ask for that more if you're a Bears fan. Bears are playing good. 4 wins in a row now after starting the season 0-2. That tough Week 1 loss to the Minnesota Vikings at home on Monday Night Primetime by just 3. And then that devastating historic loss to the Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson has his team bouncing back. I always had good faith early on in this coach when they hired him. Ben Johnson, first-time head coach, is doing really well, but we're going to get into another thing in just a little bit. I'm just highlighting and prefacing what I'm going to say here towards the end. But Kyle Monangai, the running back out of Rutgers, you know, if I had to pick all my favorite picks that I saw in this past draft, Hippolyte's a really good defender, didn't see it coming. A lot of fans are wondering, who's this Hippolyte guy? You could have had Scatabo, the running back for the Giants. You know, there's a lot of what-ifs, but I think Hippolyte's going to be a good role player for this D. Shamar Turner's gotten some action. He's looked pretty good. Ozzie Tripolo, he's looked okay. He's still developing. I like that pickup of Theo Benedict. He's really looked better on the O-line. I think Braxton Jones is a trade piece for a Chicago Bears draft pick or another need they have as well. Good to see Kyler Gordon and Nashawn Wright, Kevin Byard, and Brisker. I'm a big fan of Brisker at safety, could be a good safety for the Bears long term, continuing his career if he could continue to stay healthy like he is this year. This is Jaquan Brisker that the Bears fans recognize and know. Somebody that stays healthy. When he's healthy as well, he gets it done on the field. Shows that energy, good character representing the Chicago Bears organization. He's a really good guy on and off the field, it seems, as well. They have a really good culture in the Chicago Bears locker room. And DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, a lot of Bears fans a couple weeks ago are like, hey, going into the bye week, we need to get this run game going. What's going on? Let's trade for a running back. I think those trade talks for running back have softened big time. As we're seeing a guy I liked last year, struggled a bit early on this year, is DeAndre Swift, who's still in his mid-20s. And he's doing a really good job at running back for the Bears. And Kyle Monangai, the 7th-round pick out of Rutgers, got it done today. Folks, he got his first career NFL touchdown in the NFL and first in a Chicago Bears uniform, and probably many more to come for Kyle Monangai. Really talented runner. When you're going up against a talented D but a struggling team of the New Orleans Saints, you could just let your run game go at it. You know, the Saints were really doing a good job hindering the passing game of the Chicago Bears, you know, halting a Dunze to certain totals. DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, who left with a back injury, was doubtful to return, so we hope he'll be okay for next week's big game against Baltimore. And you saw Tyreek Stevenson, another big piece, go down and was doubtful to return. We hope he's going to be okay. Didn't look like, hopefully, anything too major, but we'll find out more. I'll share stuff on social media about those two things and many more as they unfold after this win here this afternoon in Chicago. Like I said, Monangai, DeAndre Swift, another 101-plus rushing yard game for him today. Caleb Williams did throw an interception, had 2 rough first drives, but then he kept it composed. You know, Caleb is in his first year in this Ben Johnson offense, second year in the NFL. This is hopefully going to be a first full season for him with the same head coach. And I think Ben Johnson's going to be around here for quite a while in Chicago if all goes well. Of course, you know, you never know, but that's my hope optimistically for the Chicago Bears organization and team as a whole. Their defense under Dennis Allen, we're seeing why Ben Johnson was strategically smart to bring in a guy like Dennis Allen, former head coach. I'm sure he helps Ben Johnson in many ways, not just defensively, but more along the sidelines, in the film room, prep room. Probably a lot of things we don't know. Dennis Allen is a big part of with this coaching staff under first-year head coach Ben Johnson. Dennis Allen's defense getting it done. Kevin Byard, my goodness, I cannot count on my hand the interceptions and smart plays he's made. Terrell Edmunds has just been getting it done. Tremaine Edmunds has been getting it done. He is just a talented linebacker. You know, they signed him a couple seasons ago, and I think he's a guy that's going to stick around, hopefully for a pretty good time of amount with this Bears defense. You know, a player of his age could develop with this team, hopefully, if they can keep him around financially. Still under contract this year and another year. So he's doing a really good job on the defensive line. The lines looked a lot better, too, this year under Dennis Allen. They were pretty good last year in Eberflus, but the way this team's looking right now, they have some more youth on that line. Montez Sweat looked a lot better again this week, just like last week. He's showing some signs. He's a good veteran. He's doing a pretty good job. T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmunds had that one play that was really interesting on the interception and the takeaway. Not an interception, but a recovery by the Bears even. It almost looked like an interception by Edmunds, but you know it was tipped by Edwards when we saw the replay. So it was really interesting to see how that interaction went. But good by the Bears holding the ball. And Luther Burden has shown some signs. And that's the thing we're going to see with this offense. It's not going to be just one receiver being the superstar the whole season like some teams have, like we're seeing with Warren in Indianapolis. You know, the Bears have a lot of different pieces that Ben Johnson can use on this offense that are there to help Caleb Williams, to develop with Caleb Williams. Because a lot of these players are pretty young. DJ Moore, good veteran, but then you have Luther Burden. You have Zacchaeus. You have Rome Odunze. You also have Swift, Monangai, the rookie, Loveland, who I think is a big question mark. You know, Cole Kmet's a good tight end in Chicago. We know that. He makes his mistakes like any player does. But Colston, Loveland, what is going on? you were contributing to some key penalties that this Bears team does not need to commit. And I want to credit the broadcast staff on Fox that called this, so I'm just quoting them. They said something really interesting towards the end of the game, that they mentioned John Madden used to say, something about the penalties and those yard totals. Bears were at almost 100 again, so they need to trim that. And he said, those are points your team could be getting on the scoreboard that you're not letting happen. And he mentioned that John Madden reference, and that really stood out to me. Rest in peace, John Madden. So really good win for the Bears. They're going to go into this week really needing to clean up those things. I mean, you need to limit those penalties because you're going to face a tough defense in the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens have a very strong defense. You're going to face former Chicago Bear Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, the safety out of Notre Dame, and their defensive strong force, and the return of Lamar Jackson. So the Bears aren't going to win every game. They've won 4 in a row. They're at a nice 4-2 record. It's not going to be easy to go 5-2 and beating Baltimore next week. It's going to be interesting to see what they do against Baltimore, how they game plan against it. Dennis Allen defensively, Antoine Randall L., Eric Bieniemy, and Ben Johnson's offensive side under that staff. It's going to be a really big week for them prepping for Baltimore, but boy, if Chicago Bears fans wanted a good test for Caleb and the Ben Johnson era, it's going to be Baltimore. I think that's going to be a really big game for them. We'll see what they do. And as I mentioned, the final for the Chicago Bears, 26-14, the win. Bears now at a record of 4-2 on the year on a 4-game winning streak. The big star of the day was Kevin Byard defensively for the Chicago Bears. Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker, as well. Also offensively, DeAndre Swift, Caleb Williams, and rookie, congrats on getting your first NFL touchdown rushing out of Rutgers, Mr. Kyle Monangai. When the fourth quarter buzzer sounds, you turn to us for your fifth quarter sports talk. Will Score Special fans, so long from this Facebook Live Chicago Bears Week 7 recap here on Will Score Special. Hope you guys enjoy your evenings. If you're going to go do something, go enjoy the weather, have some fun, watch some more football. Bear down. So long from Will Score Special. Have a good one, everybody.